fairy friends, it is Liz. I am back with my so truly real Ashley from Ashton Drake Galleries. I had planned on doing some videos of my Ashton Drake dolls. That was the only grouping of my collection of dolls that I hadn't featured before, and this little one's coming back in this video and you'll see why. My ball jointed dolls I haven't done, and I haven't done anything on the American Girl dolls. So those 3 dolls you'll be seeing in the future. So for now, let's talk about Ashton Drake dolls, and this one in particular. Now, I am adding a review component to this video, which I hadn't planned on doing. Actually, never planned on doing any type of reviews. But having purchased this one a week ago, looking at the reviews, I noticed that people are either not fair in the reviews, or they don't read descriptions, or they expect a lot for their money. And I think a lot of things come into play there, and I'm going to go over those in the video, hopefully in a coherent way and also in a useful way, so that when you're looking at your different options as far as these types of dolls, the more realistic type of dolls, you can make an informed decision. Because I've noticed, especially on YouTube, with the YouTubers that get free dolls or products of any kind, they don't always give the best reviews. I mean, as in honest reviews. It seems as though they don't have anything negative to say about the dolls. I mean, I guess you know what side of the bread is being buttered. You're not going to leave a negative review. I'm doing a voiceover. If you see me doing some weird hand gestures, that's why. I had a lot to say, and I had to try to squeeze it in. So, anyway. With the Ashton Drake dolls, you do have to keep in mind they do have a certain level of realism, but they are a mass-produced doll. They are not an art doll. They're not a reborn doll. And looking back here on my description that I printed out, this doll originally did not read as having the rooted hair, which it does now. Pretty sure if that was a discrepancy, I would have found out right away and been pretty upset over it. But as far as I know now, and you'll have to tell me, everyone, they really are rooted. So this one is not a rooted hair doll, so that you know that. I've taken off her original hospital onesie that she came with and put on a different diaper. And I have made changes to her, which I knew that I would do some changes. I just didn't know what all they would be. Now, I had hoped that maybe I didn't have to do any changes, but I did. Now, I don't really look for the super realism on the dolls, so I'm not super picky as far as that, and you'll see when I describe it to you. But as far as the hair application, you can see the glue. You can see the glue at the crown. And when you move the hair away, you do see a sheen from the glue. So all of those things take away from the realism. But again, it's a mass-produced doll, you guys. It's not a reborn doll. Now, this doll, one of the big complaints on my little one right here was the glue and the quality of the hair. And I was trying to say in the review of the little one, which I'll put the link in the description. I was trying to say in my review of this little one, it wasn't too far off. It was on par with the Ashton Drake, because the hair is just as fuzzy. It doesn't have the silky texture that it shows in the picture on the Ashton Drake website. And feeling the smaller doll's hair, the smaller doll has a little bit of a silkier texture to it. Both are, as I said, they're both glued. The one thing I can say about the smaller doll is you can't see the sheen of the glue whenever you lift up the hair. It's still just not going to be as realistic as hand-rooted hair, but you have to keep in mind how much time and skill that takes to do, and $140 is a pretty good chunk of money for a doll, but it's not going to buy you hand-rooted hair, and you just got to keep that in perspective. Some people were really upset with their doll, the smaller doll, and they just really had no reason to be, because for $24, mine was $24, was $23.99 and free shipping. So I didn't expect a whole bunch for practically nothing. Now on this doll, I'm going to go over the changes that I made. As you can see from the pictures, the hair is silkier. And one of the things that I was a little bit disappointed in, her face in this picture looks a lot chunkier, and her forehead looks more substantial. And sometimes that can be how the hair is applied and what shape the hair is applied. As a doll artist, I do realize that. But sometimes on the Ashton Drake dolls and the Paradise Gallery dolls, the picture you see is kind of like a prototype doll, or it can be an artist rendering, so it's not actually even a photo of a doll. So when you get it, it's not exactly the same. So I think that might have happened with this one. Now, a lot of you are already going to know this, but a lot of you are not keeping some certain things in mind as far as pricing. So that's kind of why I'm adding this in. Now, she came with a breathing mechanism, and I almost immediately took the breathing mechanism out. And her hair could look better than this, guys. I haven't moisturized it recently, so just to be fair on that, her hair can look better than what it does. But when I got her, and I didn't buy her for the breathing mechanism, I fell in love with her face. That's why I wanted her. But when I got her and I realized that the breathing didn't sound realistic at all, I thought, this is actually taking away from the realism to have that mechanical breathing sound. So I just took it out. It wasn't adding anything to it, so I added in some fiber fill to fill up the cavity. And also, the feeling of the mechanism in the tummy wasn't pleasant. So if you gave it a good snuggle, you could feel it in there. It does have wire in the shoulders, so if you're someone like me who really loves the posing of the dolls, that really does help. But if you're the type of doll collector that interacts with your doll a lot, it's not going to be pleasant, because you can feel the resistance on the doll. It doesn't have the floppy arms, so it's not going to feel as real. So there's different trades that you make with different features. So the breathing mechanism is nice, I guess, if you think it sounds real, but it doesn't feel like a real baby. So you kind of make trades with that, but just to let you guys know. Her eyebrows, I do need to repaint those, but I repainted her eyebrows because when I got her, she had individual paint stroke eyes like this one, and you can see here. It just doesn't look realistic. Now, I have lots of vintage dolls that are painted just like that, and I love my vintage dolls, but for this type of doll, it should look a little bit more realistic. So I repainted them. Now, it's not the best paint job. I have seen some jaw-dropping artwork from some reborn doll artists, but it'll do. I did what I feel is the suggestion of eyebrows. Now, her lips were painted like this little ones, but I actually think the lips were a little bit worse than the little. The little one has a little pink to it. These were more of a tan color, and it was very opaque. I wanted something that was more realistic and sheer, so I took off her original lips and I repainted it so that color would deposit in the lips and the little crevices that were sculpted in the doll. And I really think the artist did a really great job. Where it fell short was the paint job. And as I have said before, a beautiful sculpt is a great starting point, and you can go in many directions when you go to start painting it. But you can also just completely, overlook some really good features that the artist had originally intended just by doing a poor painting job. And what else did I do for her? She did have closed nostrils, so I did take my drill and open up her nostrils. And she does not have eyelashes because I took those off. They looked exactly like the little one that I bought. The uniform length of the eyelashes and the line at the base of the lashes made it look just like obvious that they were fake eyelashes. So I opted to have no eyelashes than glaringly fake ones. I did not do anything to her limbs. The blushing on the limbs are fine. Her fingernails could be better. I don't remember my little girl and little boy having a French manicure like it seems that these dolls have. And I think that people think, oh, that means that the doll was very carefully created by a reborn artist. Well, they may very well have been hand painted, but my real babies never had French manicures. So the fingernails on this one aren't my favorite, but I just didn't think that they were that glaringly obvious and were just fine. So I'm in a weird spectrum, I guess, of what I like to see as far as a realistic baby, and where I stop as far as, realism. I'm not really for a whole bunch of skin modeling. The little white bumps, no, those are not for me. Veining, too much veining, I don't really care for. I do appreciate the artistry that goes in those, and I've seen some dolls where my jaw has just dropped. And I'm like, that is not a doll. That is a real baby. So I do appreciate the artistry behind those. It's just according to what you like and what you're looking for as far as dolls for your collection. So I'm just, like I said, I'm in the middle. I'm in a weird ground where there's some things that I want to see that are realistic, and there's some things that I will put up with and are just perfectly fine. So the limbs, perfectly fine. Now this is the Gentle Touch vinyl. I think I called it something else. Oh wait, you know what? I think it's Real Touch. I can't remember, you guys. You guys, it'll be in the description of her what it actually is. I think other companies are getting really good at developing a softer vinyl. I do think sometimes how this vinyl will age over time, because as a vintage doll collector, I do know that there have been some dolls that came out that had a more realistic skin tone or realistic feeling, like Magic Touch, that haven't aged well over the years. So hopefully scientists are doing their due diligence when they're creating the I guess recipes, for want of a better word, for the vinyls these days. So hopefully our dolls will still be collectible and won't become sticky or anything like that. Now, $140. Let's talk about that price if I haven't already. I apologize if I'm going over things again. I've really recorded this so many times I can't remember. $140 is kind of a big price tag for something that Ashton Drake can mass produce, but there again, if you fall in love with the face and you're looking for a doll, then you're going to probably be willing to pay for it. I love this doll. She's given me a lot of joy dressing her, making little blankets for her, taking photos of her, and even knowing the changes that I've made for her, even knowing the breathing mechanism feature didn't really add to her and I took it out immediately. Even though I bought this several years ago, I'd still buy her again. This little one, I think I got a really good deal on. I'm going to have lots of fun with her. They're just kind of in their own little categories, but you can use each of them, including the reborns, as I said, to consider pricing and what it is you're purchasing. So, and Ashton Drake, I have gotten other dolls. I've sent some directly back, like as soon as I got them. So keeping her means a lot, as far as, how much I like her, just that I kept her. There's been dolls that I've kept thinking they'd grow on me and they just didn't, and I just gave them away because I don't have a lot of room to keep things that I don't absolutely love, so I do give things away. If I find that someone else might love something more than me, I don't even want it anymore. I will go ahead and give it away because I have limited space and I do want to keep only dolls that I love. Like this one. This is the Hush Little Baby. You'll be seeing her, and this Jasmine Goes to Grandma is another of my Ashton Drake dolls. So you'll see those. So I do collect and then pare down a lot. It seems to be my habit. Anyway, I hope you got some value out of this. Hopefully I made some sense, and I hope you guys have a magical day, and thank you as always for spending time with me. Bye bye.